Now Oprah sat across from him. Present day, cameras rolling, billions watching. So what was it? She asked. What was the secret you kept for 20 years? Keanu paused, looked down, then up. That I thought about ending it, he said. Silence. A gasp. Not a murmur. Just stillness. More than once, he continued. But every time, something stopped me. A stranger, a moment, a letter. He breathed in. I realized, I wasn't being punished. I was being prepared. Oprah's eyes were wet. Prepared for what? Keanu smiled. Soft. Sad. Free. To love better. To give more. To be here. He looked at the camera. As if he could see through it. If you're watching this and you're hurting, you're not alone. The pain you feel isn't the end of your story. It might just be the beginning. Silence. Tears. Across the world. People leaned forward, holding breath. Some cried. Some whispered. Me too. The feed ended. But something had already begun. The next day, the hospice where Ellie had stayed received 300 letters from strangers. People who saw the interview. People who had never spoken about their pain before. They told the nurses. They finally felt seen. Hospitals across the country reported an influx of anonymous gifts. Flowers. Books. Letters. Each one quoting Keanu. In every ending, there is a seed. In Tokyo, a man stepped back from the edge of a building. After seeing the clip, he called his sister for the first time in 10 years. I just saw a man cry on live television, he said, and he looked like me. In Chicago, a teenage girl played the interview for her mother. And whispered, I think I want to stay. Her mother held her, for the first time in months. In a small bookstore in Oregon, someone placed a handwritten note between pages of The Alchemist. It read, Keanu was right. Your pain is not the end. One day, it will bloom. The movement didn't have a name. No foundation. No logo. Just moments like ripples on still water. People paying for someone's meal, smiling at strangers, hugging tighter, asking are you okay, and meaning it. And Keanu, he kept going. Still quiet. Still walking the streets alone. Still carrying books in his coat. Still listening. One night, outside a subway station in New York, a girl approached him. She looked about 17. Eyes red. Lips trembling. She held up a letter. Did you write this? She asked. Keanu glanced at it. He nodded. The girl started to cry. I didn't know anyone saw me. I see you, he said. They stood together in silence. Then she hugged him, and he hugged back. Not like a celebrity, not like a savior, but like someone who had been there later that week. Someone spotted Keanu sitting alone at a cemetery. Ava's name carved in the stone. He whispered something to the air. Then he smiled. Not wide, but full. Complete, like someone who had made peace. His next film was delayed. He didn't mind. He used the time to volunteer at a suicide prevention line. He never used his name. Just K. But callers said there was something about his voice. Something that made them feel less alone. 10 years after Oprah, a letter arrived at her studio. It had no return address. Inside was a photo. A man, a woman, a child, smiling, holding a small sign that said, We stayed. Thank you. There was only one other thing in the envelope. The original letter. Folded. Worn. Loved. On the back. A new note had been added in pen. Kindness saved us. And that's the thing about kindness. It doesn't shout. It doesn't need a stage. It moves. Quietly, from hand to hand. From heart to heart. It finds people in their darkest hour, and reminds them, you're still here. You matter, you are not alone. Keanu once said, grief changes shape, but it never ends. But maybe, maybe grief becomes something else too. Maybe it becomes grace, and maybe that's what he carried all along. A quiet kind of grace. So the next time you see him on screen, in slow motion, dodging bullets, breaking through walls, staring into the abyss, the real story was never the action. It was the man behind it. The one who almost didn't make it, and then chose to stay, to give, to love, and to whisper to the broken parts of the world, I see you. Don't give up, not yet. Fade to black, silence, then a single line. Be kind. You never know what someone is surviving. Keanu Reeves knows. And now, so do we. Keanu Reeves was silent for a long time. The kind of silence that fills a room. Heavy, sacred, like something ancient just got stirred from sleep. He was sitting across from Oprah Winfrey, live on air, with the world watching. Cameras rolling, lights bearing down. You could hear the faint hum of electricity in the studio, and then, in a voice just above a whisper, Keanu said, There's something I never told anyone. For 20 years, I carried it. Not even my closest friends knew. Oprah leaned forward. She wasn't blinking. It saved my life, he said. You know Keanu. Everyone does, or they think they do. The quiet guy in black. The reluctant hero. John Wick, Neo. The meme. The mystery. The man who never seemed to age. Who never seemed to belong to Hollywood. Or maybe even this world. But what if I told you that everything you think you know about Keanu barely scratches the surface? What if the roles he played weren't just fiction but echoes? Echoes of something real. Something tragic. Something divine. Keanu was 29 years old when the world cracked. He had just finished filming Speed. He was at the peak of his career. And yet, he was withdrawing from it. From parties. From premieres. From life. People thought he was just a loner. Just another brooding actor. But inside, he was breaking. That year, his best friend, River Phoenix, died in his arms. Overdose. Outside the Viper Room, Keanu had tried to call him earlier that night. No answer. He'd felt something. A pull. An ache in his chest, like he was being called somewhere he couldn't find. I could feel him leaving, Keanu would later say. After River died, Keanu disappeared. Not just from the spotlight, but from himself. He would take his motorcycle into the desert. No map, no destination. He would ride until the sun rose behind him. He didn't know what he was searching for until he found it. It was a gas station. Middle of nowhere, one flickering streetlight. He stopped for water. That's when he saw her. She couldn't have been more than 70. Thin frame. Hands like paper. She was sweeping the sidewalk in the middle of the night. Keanu asked if she was all right. She looked up and smiled. "Been waiting for you," she said. He laughed. Said she must be mistaken. She shook her head. "Your soul called out." It was time. He thought she was mad. Or maybe just lonely. But there was something in her eyes. Ancient.com. She handed him a folded paper. "Open it when you're ready, not before." He never got her name. He got on his bike, the paper burning in his jacket pocket. And he didn't open it. Not for a long time. Years passed. He lost his daughter. A stillbirth. 8 months. Her name was Ava. He lost her mother just months later. A car crash. The kind of pain that swallows sound. That bends time. It was like dying without dying, he once said. He kept acting. But it was different now. He looked at the world like a man who'd touched the edge. Who knew what was waiting on the other side. Act IIHE. Opened the paper 10 years later. Alone in a hotel in Berlin. It was a letter, handwritten. Neat, it said. "You will be given many moments. Some will feel like the end. Others, the beginning. They are the same. In every ending, there is a seed. Water it. Your pain will become a bridge. Use it. And when you do, you'll save lives. Starting with your own," he cried. For hours, he didn't understand at all. But something shifted. That was the year he gave away most of his salary from the Matrix sequels to the stunt crew. That was the year he started showing up to hospitals without press. That was the year he paid a stranger's medical bills after overhearing her story in a cafe. The acts of kindness weren't for the cameras. They were for him. For River, for Ava. For the seed. He started keeping journals. Dozens of them, worn leather, filled with quotes, drawings, prayers. He would write one phrase over and over. "I'm still here." He started visiting places no one expected. Shelters, grief groups, veterans' homes. Sometimes he'd just sit and listen. Say nothing. Other times, he'd tell a story. Never his own. But always honest. One night, in a small recovery circle in Pasadena, a woman told him, "You don't say much, but it feels like you see everything." He looked down at his hands. "I think," he said, "some of us were born to feel what others hide." She nodded. "And that hurts, doesn't it?" Keanu nodded back. "It's the only kind of pain that teaches," he said. He started noticing things. The way someone clenched a coffee cup, the silent tears on a subway, the man outside the bookstore handing out free poems. He started handing out things to books, cash, blankets, notes. Once, on a snowy night, in Toronto, he found a man sleeping under a bridge. Keanu sat beside him. No camera, no entourage. Just silence. The man woke up. "You cold?" Keanu asked. The man blinked. "You Keanu?" Keanu smiled. "Tonight, I'm just someone who can share a coat." He took his own jacket off, wrapped it around the man. They sat like that until dawn. He never told anyone about the woman at the gas station, or the letter, until he met Ellie as she was 12. Hair thin from chemo, skin pale like paper. She was sitting in a hospital bed, watching The Matrix on a tiny screen. Keanu was visiting the ward as a surprise. He didn't expect her to know who he was, but when she saw him, her eyes lit up. "Neo," she whispered. He smiled. "You're like that one." She nodded. "I watch it when the pain gets really bad," she said. "Makes me feel like I can dodge it. Like maybe I'm not trapped." Keanu sat beside her. "You're not," he said. She looked at him, uncertain. "It feels like it." He leaned closer. "Wanna know a secret?" he asked. She nodded. "I didn't think I could survive my pain either." She looked surprised. "But you single quotes re. Strong." He shook his head. "I'm here. That's different." "What's the secret then?" she asked. Keanu took a breath. He reached into his pocket, unfolded the same paper the old woman gave him. "Let Ellie read it." She stared at the words, then back at him. "Who gave you this?" "I don't know. Just someone who saw me." She paused. "Do you think I'll survive?" "I think," he said, "that your story is still being written." She blinked back tears. "So is yours." Keanu touched her hand gently. "We're writing it together." Ellie died 3 months later. Keanu went to the funeral. Nobody from the press knew. He stood in the back, quiet. Still, when it was over, he handed Ellie's mother the folded letter. "Your daughter changed me," he said. Her mother cried. "You changed her too." That night, back in his hotel, Keanu did something he hadn't done in 20 years. He wrote a letter of his own. It said, "If you're reading this, it means you're hurting. I know that hurt. I've worn it like a second skin. But you're not alone. What you feel right now is not where your story ends. It's where it begins. There's more. So much more. Please stay. Your pain is a seed. One day it becomes light. Trust that." He made 100 copies. Left them in random places. Inside books at libraries. On bus seats. Slipped into coat pockets. The next day, one letter ended up in the hands of a man on the edge. A veteran. Alone. Cold. Done. He read the note. He cried. He stayed. And later, he found Keanu on a quiet bench in Venice Beach. "You saved me," the man said. Keanu didn't ask how. He didn't need to. He just nodded. Then opened his arms. They hugged. Nothing more was said.